Okay, folks, you're probably wondering what this image is that you're seeing, and I will let you know in a moment. But first, let me remind you of something I've shown you in the past. So remember when I showed you this insect, whatever the hell this thing is, it's called a murder hornet. You see the name? You see it's called a murder hornet. And look, they found it in the first time in the United States in Washington, where Seattle is. Because I told you Seattle's going to get struck on June 11th. And like I said, it's called a murder hornet. And why is this important that it was found in Washington, the hornet? Because the word hornet is an anagram for the word throne. I'm using all the letters, and it equals the exact same as hornet. Hornet equals throne. And you know Elvis, he was known as the king, okay? And where is Seattle? Seattle is in King County, and Seattle is known as the seat of King County. You get it? Because it's S-E-A-T. All right? And you have the E-L, which means God in Hebrew. It's the L seat. And you have two T's. I told you it's for the twin thing. Anyway, the whole point is Elvis was known as the king, and Seattle's in King County, okay? And the seat is a throne. That's my point. And I told you how they love to mock God. They call the toilet a throne, okay? And toilet is almost the exact same letters as the word Elliot, like Elliot Bay, because Elliot Bay is spelled with two L's. If it had one more L, it would be the word Elliot. And I told you that Seattle is in Elliot Bay, which is part of Puget Sound. I forgot to mention Elliot Bay is a body of water, which is in the Puget Sound, which is the bigger body of water. But anyway, the toilet is known as a throne. And Elvis, he died while he was on the toilet, okay? He was sitting on the toilet, supposedly, and he was, whatever. And he died. And I told you everything is about mocking God. And what was Elvis reading the moment he died? Elvis was reading a book called A Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. You see? And remember, he died on the throne, which is known as a toilet. Complete mockery of God. And like I said, he was known as the king. He dies on the throne, the toilet, and Seattle is in King County. And that's where they found the murder hornet. Hornet is throne, because that is the throne, and they're going to destroy the throne. Do you understand? And remember, I told you that Seattle is in Elliott Bay, but Elliott Bay is in the Puget Sound. And, a sound is something you hear, right? And notice this is a horn, H-O-R-N, and you have the E-T. And you know what I say about E.T. all the time. That stands for Elvis Trump. And what did, E.T. wanted to do? You see the E.T. And, this is what I was trying to say. That, E.T. was trying to go home, right? In the movie Extraterrestrial E.T., which I told you stands for Elvis Trump. And look, if you add the E.T. to Trump, it's trumpet, right? Again, because, the Bible talks about trumpets, right? In the end times. And that's what this is all about. The last trump. Okay? E.T. And isn't it interesting that E.T., the movie E.T. was released on June 11th. You see that? That's the day I'm telling you Seattle's going to get struck. Okay, if you think these are coincidences, you're nuts. This is supernatural, what I'm showing you. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to get to the new stuff in a moment. I'm just showing you how incredible this information is before I show you the new thing. And even the year is important. 1982. Think of 8219. Watch. 1982 or 8219. Because the word Seattle equals 8219. You see that? You see on my calculator, Seattle equals 8219. And I just told you that 1982 was the year, you see? And remember, I told you that Elliott Bay, which is almost the word toilet, if you just let one less E, I mean, if it had one more L in the word toilet, it would be the way it's spelled Elliott here. You know what I mean? Anyway, and look, it's part of the Puget Sound. Look, Puget. Even Puget has the ET, the Elvis Trump. Wow, check this out. And look at the amount of area that Elliott Bay is. It's 8108. And you know Elvis, he had an identical twin that died at birth, supposedly, and they were born on 1/8. You see that? The twins. Elvis. I mean, this is unbelievable. And don't forget, Elvis equals water. The word Elvis equals the same as the word water in gematria, because that's what this is all about. Okay? He's the beast out of the sea in Seattle. Anyway, back to this. Remember that the murder hornet was found in Washington State, where Seattle is, right? So let's look at this thing and hear the story on it.
One of the biggest moths in the world is flying in the United States for the very first time. The Washington State Department of Agriculture says the Atlas Moth was found last month in Bellevue. Officials say these bugs are usually found in the tropics. They can be about 7 inches wide. It's unclear if it escaped as a pet or if it's part of a large population in the area. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is asking anyone who encounters the Atlas Moth to notify wildlife officials in their state. They're not dangerous to people. They're considered a federally quarantined pest. That means it's illegal to raise them or sell them without a permit from...
So one of the viewers brought this to my attention earlier today and noticed that this moth, like I said, it was found in Washington, which is, like I said, Seattle is in Washington, King County. And notice this moth, not only does it have like a weird, like Baphomet face, but look, it looks like a snake on this side and a snake on this side. It's a two-headed snake. You see what I'm saying? Because I told you that Elvis and Trump are the Janus, the god Janus, the two-faced god I always tell you about. And you know that this moth that I was just showing you is named the Atlas Moth, okay? And Atlas is always shown as holding up the world like he's a pillar, okay? And yeah, exactly, that's what it is. Who supported the pillars that held heaven and earth apart, it says, you see? Like I said, Atlas is always holding up, this, the world, and supposedly it's a globe, but I'm not, what I think. I believe that we live on a flat earth. But anyway, so it's on 5th Avenue, and I told you 5th, 5th equals 33, the way it is like this. TH is 28, and then you add the number 5 equals 33. And Trump Towers on 5th Avenue. And this reminds me of what I've shown you in the past, when the Van Halen album, it's called the 5150, and notice it's got like a ring around it, kind of like the Space Needle in Seattle. I told you it has a ring, a round crown on the top. And the reason I'm showing you this, like I said, it represents Atlas, because the album is called 5150. And if you remember what I told you, why 5150 is so important to these people, because the word Satan, it's got the hidden 5150 in it. Check it out. See, it says 5510, right? But it's got a hidden 5150. Look, 51 50. You see? 5150. That's why they named the album 5150 Van Halen. And you know, 51 plus 50 is 101. And you know, Neo from The Matrix. Look at my pen. It looks funny here. Anyway, Neo from The Matrix, he was in room 101, you see? 51 plus 50 equals 101. And the reason the 101 is so important, because see, the word God equals 26. G is the 7th letter, O is the 15th letter, and D is the 4th letter, which makes 26. And the 26th prime number is 101. Okay? I told you the prime numbers are super important to this puzzle. And that's why Neo in The Matrix plays like the God, you know, he's the chosen one. Do you get what I'm saying? And he was in room 101. Anyway, back to this thing, this moth, the Atlas Moth it's called. The point I'm trying to make here is, look, it looks like a snake head. See the eye right there? And there's a snake's mouth. There's the head. Both sides, two-headed snake. You know, and I told you Trump and Elvis are the, you know, the serpents, the twin serpents. And I told you that Elvis and Trump are the, you know, mythical god Janus, who is the two-faced god, right? It's two faces, Janus. And it's one facing the past, one facing the future, you know. It holds the door, you know, the key to the doors, the gates, you know, it's basically the portal. And I told you that Washington has to do with portals and Elvis has to do with portals. And I'm going to connect the Janus real quick to Seattle. Remember I told you that EL means God in Hebrew, right? And real quick, so Seattle equals 8219 107 44. 8219 107 44 for Seattle. So if you were to take the EL, which means God, and then add the word Janus, look what you get. 8219 107 44. Exact same numbers as Seattle. Do you see that? And that's, you understand? You take the EL, which was in Seattle, and then add Janus, it equals the exact same as the word Seattle. So Seattle means El Janus. These are impossible coincidences. And I've shown all this from years ago. This is nothing new. And what month was Elvis born? In January. And the month of January is named after the Roman god Janus. You see? I mean, do you understand that these are impossible coincidences? And Elvis had an identical twin, right, that died at birth, whose name was Jesse Garon. But it's, you know, on his gravestone it's spelled with an I, Jessie. And look, my name is Garo, Garo. And look, he's got my middle, his twin that died has my name in it. I mean, it's got my name in his name. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that the identical twins were born in January, which is the two-faced god. You know, January is named after Janus. You understand? The two-faced identical twins. One dies, Trump becomes the replacement. Okay? The other one had to die because Elvis has to be the top dog. There's not two antichrists, there's one. Okay? But Trump was needed to fulfill this monstrous charade that's going to have Elvis being worshipped. And of course, Trump benefits from the worship of Elvis, okay? And that's why basically Trump is, you know, the Antichrist in the flesh, but the real Antichrist is Elvis, the unseen. He's the one that's going to be worshipped, and you're going to take his mark, you know, if you don't endure to the end, as God tells you, you know, then you'll end up taking the mark for Elvis and you'll go to hell. Anyway, folks, end of video.